In the small town of Willow Creek, something strange was about to unfold. Nestled between tall mountains and dense forests, the town seemed ordinary at first. However, beneath its calm surface, a mystery waited to erupt. This mystery began with a group of friends, Jake, Lily, Max, and Sarah. Each of them loved adventure and had a curiosity that often led them into trouble. One evening, while hanging out in Jake's garage, they stumbled upon an old radio, dusty and forgotten. Jake, an enthusiastic tinkerer, decided to fix it. After a while, the radio sparked back to life with a crackle. As they tuned the dials, they heard a strange transmission barely understood. A voice, deep and echoing, filled the garage. "This is a warning from the Zartok species. A great event will happen on October 30th, 2023. Prepare yourselves, Earthlings. The end is near." The friends looked at each other, eyes wide in disbelief. "Is this a joke?" Sarah asked, half laughing. "It's not funny," Max said, his eyebrows knitted in concern. "What if it's real?" Jake, still holding the radio, started to get excited. "We need to investigate. Let's find out more about this date." The next day, they decided to visit the local library. Miss Thompson, the librarian, was a wise woman who had seen many things in her life. When they approached her with the strange message, she raised an eyebrow. "I have heard rumors of alien encounters before," she said, leading them to a dusty old book titled Visions of the Unknown. "This book tells of various predictions. Look under the section for October days." As they flipped through the pages, they came across a chilling chapter. It spoke of a dark day when shadows would engulf the sky, and people would vanish. The book suggested that this was linked to cosmic alignments and signals that could be decoded by those who understood the universe's language. Lily felt a shiver down her spine. "Wow, this sounds serious. It could be just a story, right? Or it could be a warning," Max replied, looking thoughtful. "We can't ignore it." As they continued to research, they discovered that October 30th wasn't just any date. It was rumored to be a day of great celestial events, where the planets would align in a rare formation. The book mentioned that with this event, creatures could come through the dimensional veil, trying to communicate or even invade. That night, after days of excitement and fear, they set up a plan to stay awake on October 30th to see what might happen. They armed themselves with flashlights, snacks, and a notebook to document anything strange. They chose a spot at the old abandoned observatory outside of town. On the night of the 30th, a cold breeze swept through the hills as they gathered at the observatory. The stars twinkled brightly, almost guiding their nerves. Jake set up his camera to capture anything unusual. The air felt thick, electric with anticipation. As the hours passed, they laughed and joked, trying to ease their anxiety. But at midnight, the atmosphere shifted. The lights flickered, and the ground trembled slightly beneath them. Then, the sky turned dark despite the stars, as if something was blocking out the light. Suddenly, a piercing sound echoed, like a mix between a deafening roar and a desperate cry. The friends huddled closer together. "Did you hear that?" Sarah whispered, her eyes darting around. Before anyone could reply, a bright, swirling light appeared above them, pulsating in rhythm with their racing hearts. From the center of the light, figures began to descend. The aliens were unlike anything they had imagined. Tall and thin with glimmering skin, their faces were smooth, with large, expressive eyes that seemed to glow. One of the aliens stepped forward. It spoke in a voice that resonated throughout their minds rather than in their ears. "We come with an urgent message. Your world is at risk." Jake stumbled back, shocked, but filled with a mix of fear and fascination. "Why? What do you want?" The alien continued, "The event you are witnessing tonight is not just a celestial alignment but a chance for change. Your planet is on a dangerous path. There is a choice to be made. You must unite and embrace the light of knowledge and peace, or the darkness of chaos will engulf your world. Lily was brave enough to step forward. How can we help? What do we need to do? You must share this warning, the alien said. Gather your people. Teach them unity over division. Only then can the shadows be pushed back. Max nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. We'll do it. We promise. The alien waved its hand, and for a brief moment, the sky lit up in colors the friends had never seen. Then, just as fast as they appeared, the aliens vanished, leaving the friends alone in the cold, silent night. In the following days, they spread the message through their town. They held meetings, shared their story, and encouraged everyone to come together. People were skeptical at first, but as the predictions began to align with strange occurrences around town, pets acting strange, unusual weather patterns, and disturbances in nature, the rumor spread like wildfire. More and more people began to believe in the warning from the galactic strangers. A sense of urgency replaced daily routines. Willow Creek organized a Unity Festival on the actual date of the celestial event to celebrate togetherness. On the day of the event, the townspeople gathered, candles in hand, as the sky darkened above. Most held light, hoping to fight off the shadows mentioned by the aliens. They raised their voices in songs of hope and togetherness, united as one community. In the midst of the celebration, when the clock struck midnight, the sky erupted into a brilliant light show, almost as if the universe was responding to their determination. The stars danced, and the air grew warm. They had faced their fears and created unity in the face of uncertainty. And maybe, just maybe, they wouldn't have to face the darkness alone. As the townspeople looked up, they knew they had made their choice. They believed in the light. They had listened to the warning, and together they would ensure the safety of their world. The old radio crackled, spitting static and a distorted voice. Professor Illyra Vance, her face etched with worry, leaned closer. It's them again," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the static. Her team, a mix of skeptical scientists and wide-eyed young researchers, huddled around her in the dusty observatory. For years, Professor Vance had been receiving cryptic messages from a distant star system, Xylos. The Xylosians, as they called themselves, were an advanced civilization, their technology far beyond human comprehension. Their communications were infrequent, often just snippets of information, encoded in strange, complex patterns. But tonight, the message was different. It was a warning. "They're talking about a date, Dr. Jian, the team's astrophysicist, said, his voice trembling slightly as he translated the complex waveforms. "A specific date, and it's almost here." The date was circled on the holographic projection, October 27, 2142. Less than 3 months away. The message, partially translated, spoke of a cosmic event, a confluence of celestial bodies, that would unleash an immense surge of energy. It was an event that the Xylosians, with their advanced knowledge, had predicted centuries ago. They had warned other civilizations in the past, but humanity had largely ignored their messages. Now, it seemed, the warning was for us. The team debated the implications. Was it a solar flare of unprecedented magnitude? A collision of asteroids? Or something far more sinister? The Xylosians' warning hinted at something beyond natural phenomena, a disturbance in the fabric of space-time itself. A rift, perhaps. Something that could unravel reality as we knew it. Among the researchers was young Sarah Chen, a bright, inquisitive student eager to prove herself. She found an unusual pattern within the Xylosian message, a hidden sequence, a kind of mathematical key. With painstaking effort, she unlocked another layer of the warning. This part revealed a location, the Kepler 186f system. A system the Xylosians visited frequently. It was a place of immense cosmic energy, a place intimately involved with the impending event. Sarah's discovery fueled a new sense of urgency. They had to know more, they had to understand what the Xyloshians were trying to warn them about. Professor Vance, with the help of General Maddox, a grizzled military man who initially viewed the entire project with skepticism, organized a daring mission. A specially designed spacecraft, the Icarus, was prepared for a journey to Kepler 186f. The mission was fraught with danger, traversing unpredictable wormholes and navigating the treacherous cosmic landscape. The crew of the Icarus included Captain Eva Rostova, a seasoned astronaut known for her calm demeanor under pressure, Dr. Jian, to analyze any cosmic anomalies, and Sarah Chen, who would continue her analysis of the Xyloshian communications. They were a team united by a single, desperate goal, to understand the impending threat and hopefully, find a way to avert it. Their journey was perilous. They encountered gravitational anomalies that threatened to tear the ship apart, navigated through asteroid fields, and even had a close call with a rogue black hole. But they persevered, driven by the gravity of the situation. The closer they got to Kepler 186f, the more intense the cosmic energy became. Their instruments went haywire, their communications became erratic. It was clear that they were approaching something extraordinary, something potentially catastrophic. As they reached Kepler 186f, they witnessed something breathtaking, and terrifying. A swirling vortex of energy, a rift in space-time itself, was forming. It pulsed with an ominous energy, its surface shimmering with colors impossible to describe. It was a clear manifestation of the Xyloshians' warning. This was the source of the impending cosmic event. Dr. Jian's analysis revealed a startling truth. The rift wasn't a natural occurrence. It was artificially created, possibly by a powerful, unknown entity. The Xyloshians' messages weren't just warnings, they were pleas for help. They were trying to alert humanity to the threat, to prevent this catastrophic event. Sarah, using the knowledge she gained from the Xyloshian messages, identified a pattern in the rift's energy signature, a frequency that could potentially disrupt and possibly close the rift. It was a long shot, but it was their only hope. Captain Rostova, with unwavering resolve, steered the Icarus into the heart of the rift, deploying a powerful energy emitter. The ensuing event was terrifying. The Icarus was battered by immense cosmic forces. But the energy emitter worked. The rift began to destabilize, its chaotic energy gradually subsiding. It slowly closed, leaving a lingering sense of cosmic unease and the profound understanding of humanity's vulnerability in the vast expanse of the universe. Back on Earth, the world watched with bated breath as the Icarus returned. They had averted catastrophe, but the experience left an indelible mark on them. The date, October 27, 2142, would forever be etched in their memory, a reminder of the cosmic threat averted and the importance of listening to warnings, no matter how strange or unbelievable they may seem. The Xyloshians' message had saved them, and the universe held its breath, hoping this wouldn't be the last time they needed a warning. The old radio crackled, spitting static and a faint, high-pitched whine. Professor Ilora Vance, her face etched with worry lines, adjusted the dial. For weeks, she'd been receiving these strange transmissions, originating from, well, nowhere she could pinpoint. But the message, translated with the help of her team, was chillingly clear. July 17. A date circled ominously on a piece of paper clutched in her trembling hand. Ilora, a respected astrophysicist, had dedicated her life to the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. She'd spent years dismissing the ramblings of conspiracy theorists, the blurry photos of UFOs, the anecdotal evidence. But these transmissions were different. They were precise, mathematical, terrifying. They spoke of a cosmic event, a convergence of celestial bodies, that would unleash something catastrophic. Her team, a motley crew of scientists, engineers, and a surprisingly pragmatic conspiracy theorist named Jake, huddled around her in the dimly lit lab. There was Dr. Eris Thorne, a brilliant but cynical mathematician, Dr. Lena Petrova, a geologist specializing in planetary formations, and young Ben Carter, an eager intern whose expertise lay in deciphering complex codes. The aliens, they warned us, Illyra said, her voice barely a whisper. They knew. They saw it coming. The initial skepticism in the room quickly dissolved into a growing sense of unease. Eris, usually quick with a sarcastic remark, remained silent, his eyes fixed on the complex equations projected onto the wall. Lena, her face pale, muttered about gravitational anomalies and unpredictable solar flares. Even Jake, the conspiracy theorist, seemed genuinely unnerved. The alien message, deciphered with painstaking accuracy, painted a grim picture. A rogue asteroid, previously undetected, was hurtling towards Earth. Its trajectory, influenced by a rare alignment of planets, was almost impossible to predict with precision. The aliens hadn't specified the asteroid's size, only that its impact would be devastating, triggering widespread earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and tsunamis. July 17 loomed closer, each day amplifying the team's fear and urgency. They pored over data, analyzing every possible scenario. They contacted government agencies, but their warnings fell on deaf ears. Bureaucracy, skepticism, and an unwillingness to admit the possibility of extraterrestrial contact hampered their efforts. The world remained blissfully unaware of the impending doom. Illyra, driven by a desperate need to save humanity, devised a plan. She knew that diverting the asteroid was impossible with current technology. But perhaps, she thought, they could mitigate the damage, minimize the loss of life. She needed to identify the most likely impact zone and prepare the population. The team worked tirelessly, day and night, fueled by caffeine and the gnawing fear of impending disaster. Ben, using advanced satellite imagery, identified a possible impact zone, a vast, sparsely populated area in the Pacific Ocean. Lena confirmed that a tsunami, while inevitable, would be significantly less destructive if it hit an area with a relatively low population density. Eris, using complex algorithms, predicted the timing of the impact with a margin of error of only a few minutes. With only a few days remaining until July 17, Illyra decided to make a final desperate attempt to reach the public. She leaked the information to a select group of journalists, individuals she trusted to relay the message accurately and without causing mass panic. The news spread like wildfire, initially met with disbelief and ridicule, but gradually gaining traction as the details emerged. The world, finally alerted to the threat, was thrown into chaos. Governments responded with emergency plans, evacuations were underway, and the global community united in a desperate bid to survive. The alien warning, initially dismissed as science fiction, became a stark reality. People prepared themselves, emotionally and practically, for the impending catastrophe. The atmosphere was thick with fear, but also with an unexpected sense of unity. July 17 arrived with a chilling silence, a stark contrast to the preceding days of frantic activity. The world watched, its breath held captive in its lungs, as the asteroid approached. The impact, when it came, was less devastating than initially predicted. The precise predictions of Eris and Ben, combined with the preparations instigated by the information leaked by Illyra, significantly reduced the loss of life. The tsunami was still devastating, but countless lives were saved. In the aftermath, Illyra, Eris, Lena, Ben, and Jake became unexpected heroes. The world acknowledged the accuracy of their claims, the truth of the alien warning. The event was a global trauma, but it also served as a lesson in the importance of scientific collaboration, international cooperation, and the need to heed the warnings, even when they come from beyond the stars. The memory of July 17 serves as a poignant reminder, a testament to the fragility of life and the boundless mysteries of the universe, including the existence of entities far beyond our comprehension. The aliens had warned them, and humanity, against all odds, had survived. In the small town of Maplewood, life was often quiet and uneventful. The townsfolk went about their daily routines, but an unusual event was about to shake their peaceful existence. It started with a message, delivered in a way no one expected. It began on a rainy Tuesday. Sarah, a high school teacher, was preparing her lesson when the lights flickered. A strange noise filled the room, almost like a hum. Just as she was about to ignore it, her computer screen lit up with an array of strange symbols. She couldn't understand the words, but a sense of urgency washed over her. Later that day, Sarah gathered with her friends at the local diner. There were 4 of them: Jake, a tech-savvy guy who loved all things science, he was always up for a good conspiracy theory; Emily, a bubbly nurse with a heart for adventure; and Mark, a quiet bookworm who preferred novels over social gatherings. They met every week to catch up, but today felt different. "Did anyone else see those weird lights in the sky last night?" Jake asked, his eyes wide with excitement. "Just another one of your conspiracy theories," Mark replied, sipping his coffee. "No, seriously. I think it might be something. People have been talking about strange occurrences all over the world," Jake insisted. Emily leaned in, her curiosity piqued. "What do you mean?" "There's a rumor online about aliens warning us about an important date. They say it's coming soon, and it could change everything." Sarah felt a shiver run down her spine. The unusual message from earlier flashed in her mind. "What's the date?" Jake pulled out his phone and searched. "It's supposed to be exactly 1 week from today. They say we might have only until then to prepare for something big." The group exchanged nervous glances. Could it be true? Or was Jake just spinning another tall tale? They all shared a collective sense of dread mixed with curiosity. Should they ignore it, or should they investigate further? As the week passed, strange things began to happen in Maplewood. The weather turned erratic, sunny days turned to sudden storms and unsettling windstorms. The town's old clock tower, which had stood for over a century, stopped working completely. People whispered about a dark feeling creeping into their hearts, a silent fear of the unknown. On the evening before the fateful date, Sarah decided to host a small gathering at her house. She invited Jake, Emily, and Mark to discuss the events that had unfolded. Sarah wanted to confront their fears and figure out what to do. "Maybe we should do some research," Sarah suggested. "If this is truly serious, we need to be prepared." Mark nodded thoughtfully. "There are historical accounts of strange occurrences, but it's hard to say what could really happen. We need to consider every possibility." As tired eyes turned towards the clock, the conversation grew tense. Time seemed to slow down. They debated the meanings of different warnings, consulted various online articles, and even read through old folklore about the signs of an impending visit from beings from another world. Suddenly, Emily's face lit up. "What if we set up a meeting at the old observatory? Maybe we can see something there or even contact them ourselves." The others looked skeptical, but a sense of adventure sparked within them. "Why not?" Jake said, excitement bubbling in his voice. "It's worth a shot." That night, they made their way to the observatory, armed with flashlights and snacks. The building was old and creaky, a relic of a time when people looked to the stars in wonder. As they climbed to the roof, the sky shimmered with stars, twinkling like diamonds scattered across a deep velvet curtain. They took a moment to sit silently, enveloped by the night. It felt peaceful, but the weight of what was to come lingered in the air. Suddenly, Emily pointed towards the horizon. "Look. Do you see that?" Far away, a series of bright lights danced in the sky, moving in rhythmic patterns. The friends gasped. It was something they had never seen before. Before they could process what was happening, a loud rumble echoed through the valley. The ground shook beneath them as the bright lights grew closer. Panic struck. "Get inside!" Jake yelled, pulling them away from the edge. They rushed back into the observatory, their hearts racing. Once inside, they huddled together, listening to the deep rumbling sounds that seemed to surround them. The air was thick with anticipation. They didn't know if it was fear or excitement. Then, in the midst of their fear, a blinding light filled the room, casting strange shadows on the walls. In that moment, a figure appeared before them. It was neither fully human nor alien, but something in between. Tall, with luminous skin and glowing eyes, the being radiated power and wisdom. "Do not be afraid," it spoke directly into their minds, its voice echoing softly like a whisper in a dream. "We have come to warn you." The friends exchanged anxious glances, overwhelmed by the presence before them. "This date you fear, it is a pivotal moment for your planet. A time of reckoning. The energy around this day is fragile and can lead to peace or chaos. What do we need to do?" Sarah asked, her voice trembling. "Spread knowledge and unity. Fear brings division. Only through coming together can you change the course you are on," the being replied. Before they could ask more, the being began to fade, leaving a warm feeling enveloping them as if it was passing on its strength. When it vanished completely, the lights in the sky dispersed like shooting stars. An eerie silence fell over the observatory. They knew they had received a warning, but now they understood the importance of their actions. The next day, as the sun rose, the four friends woke with renewed determination to share what they had witnessed. It was a task they did not take lightly. They started to organize town meetings, bringing everyone together, and sharing their experience, hoping to unite their community. The date passed without the catastrophe they feared, but the awakening it sparked changed Maplewood forever. As the townspeople learned to appreciate each other, a bond formed that had been lacking. And with that bond, the fear of the unknown became a curiosity for the new adventures to come. The aliens had warned them, and in doing so, they ignited a flame of hope that would shine brightly in the hearts of all who lived there.